Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is currently... Give me a moment. It is currently Saturday. And by the way, I have figured out what is going on with my audio. Turns out, on you guys' end, it's totally fine. But my monitor audio is completely borked. So, it's just cutting in and out, and it's just broken and it's all balls, and I don't know why. I think it might have something to do with the splitter that I'm currently using, maybe. So I'm going to try and replace that sometime soon. But in the meantime, I guess I'm just going to deal with it. Otherwise, it would be extremely loud in my ears. And I need that splitter because it has the bork. I don't know. I've heard so many different like technical support people say bork. As in, the thing is broke. I don't know. You get bored of regular words. As we were clearly showing in the chat earlier today. Okay, so anyways, back to a little bit more Phoenix Wright. So the last time that we did the stream, we were just about to head to court, and we need to somehow prove that time travel is possible. Help me. All right, I guess we will try and see if that works out. Let's go on over to the main tab, and we will begin. There we go. No god can help you now. All right, September 22nd, 8:45 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby, number 3. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. I see you're still wearing your wedding gown. And I will continue to wear it until our marriage is saved. No! Soren! Right. Could you people hug, please? I don't know. He doesn't seem to have any kind of emotion at all. Do you think he came to see how she's holding up? Probably to be, like, a witness or some shit. Soren, my love! You came all the way to the courthouse just to see me? Oh, Soren, I don't know what to say! Blueprints. Huh? The engine blueprints. I can't find them. Do you know where they are? Oh, they're in your room. Third shelf from the bottom, on the right-hand side. Bastard! Ah, I see. My sword and voice is literally perfect. I don't know, I'm just going for, like, quiet and laid the hell back. Don't tell me he came just to ask some stupid, for some stupid blueprints. Is he really that cold of a person? Or is that just how he comes off, I wonder? What about me, Soren? Meh. Ellen. He's back. Come home soon. I'm lost without you. Ah. Oh, no. Hey, come on. You need to look pretty for the courts. Don't go crying your eyes out. Later. Looks like showing your vulnerabilities is the fastest way to capturing a woman's heart. Or at least this one. You should take notes on this, Nick. Shut up. Please leave me out of this. Anyway, it looks like Soren isn't big on words. But it's clear that he cares about Ellen. Knowing that, I actually feel kind of relieved. Yeah. Yeah, maybe clean that up. You good. Ew. The blushing bride is doing much more than blushing. Mr. Wright, I just absolutely can't be found guilty, you hear? Don't worry, I'm gonna do everything I can to prove your innocence. Thank you, Mr. Wright. The trial's about to start, sir. Oh, God! Fluffy says, Lost Fortune broke me. It's my favorite of the Layton games. I am very interested in taking a look at the Layton stuff at some point. Oh, you say the time travel... Time travel does exist in the Layton universe, and it sort of confirms that both Layton and Phoenix coexist in the same universe in the crossover. Ah, I see. I mean, technically that was all non-canon, so... Yeah. Time travel exists. Right, are you out of your fucking mind? Nah, just try and listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. Anyway, Edgeworth. Knowing him, he's not going to yield an inch. So I've just got to fight with everything I've got and save Ellen. Pickle Boyo says, Wright's on bath salts, but, like, the salt is soap scum on his bathroom curtain. Oh, he just, like, sniffs the sides of the wall. He just gets high. Yeah. September 22nd, 9 o'clock a.m. District Court, courtroom number 6. We back in court. Let's do it.
Court is now in session for the trial of Ellen Wright.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Oh my god, you... Oh, you stuck-up asshole.
Seeing so many familiar faces gathered together like this, I feel as though I'm at a grand reunion. It makes me want to go out for dinner and a drink and reminisce with all of you.
I don't know, this has been torture on all of us. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I was dying for a real burger the whole time I was away. What did I tell you guys? We could make it a welcome back party for Maya. How about it, Edgeworth? I have no intention of cavorting with my enemies. Enemy. Now then, Your Honor, let us start this trial at once.
Still not one for light-hearted banter, are you, Mr. Edgeworth?
Jokes and good humor are beyond worthless in a court of law. Guess we'll just have to have the party without him then. However, were it after the conclusion of this trial, I might consider joining you for your little welcome back party. I certainly wouldn't mind an invite at the very least. So hard to get. Oh, FBay says, not gonna spoil anything, but Unwound Future is the only game that made me cry on a second playthrough. Good luck if I ever play it. Oh boy, should be interesting. He's still as emotionally constipated as ever, I see. I want to go, but I just can't say it.
Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please go over the details of this case for us.
The victim was Dumas Gloomsbury, a servant in the Sprocket household. He was in attendance at a wedding reception that occurred from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mr. Gloomsbury apparently felt some animosity towards Ellen Wyatt, and so, a bit after the reception ended at 10 p.m., he assaulted Miss Wyatt with the intent to kill her. The defendant fought back and ended up killing Mr. Gloomsbury.
In other words, it was justified self-defense, correct? If that's the case, then the defendant might not be criminally responsible.
He's right. Worst case scenario, I could go for self-defense to avoid the criminal charge. I wonder how Edgeworth plans to counter that, though. The prosecution's first witness will make my view on the matter clear, Your Honor. Or plead insanity. I mean, let's get there when we get there. And also, thank you for all the shamrocks.
Very well. Bailiff, please bring in the first witness.
Random lady from the... Oh! What? Shit! Please state your name and occupation, witness. Emma Sky, forensic investigator. And, just like to say, sir, that being in the same courtroom as you is a great honor. Min says, that's not a random lady. That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, I don't know, it's just some random lady at the party. Oh, it's always someone I know. Holy crap. Oh, that's right. You're a fan of Edgeworth's, aren't you, Emma? We're good friends and all, Mr. Wright. But just this once, I intend to faithfully and fully testify for the prosecution. And I do mean that wholeheartedly. I expect no less from you. Yes, sir! I'm gonna do my very best! Looks like you lost the popularity contest to Mr. Edgeworth, Nick. Meh. I could really care less. Besides, she'll see who's the better lawyer once I win this trial. Yeah, maybe then you'll actually really care less.
Now, Detective Sky, if you please.
How do you like that, Wright? I stole your friend away from you. The murder weapon was a clock called the Timekeeper. The victim was hit with it from behind, and he fell over, right into the lantern. The defendant was spotted then, standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. The victim was struck twice, by the way. Interesting. Edgeworth pulls up to Emma's house. Get in, detective, we're going shopping. He was struck twice? That's right. There's no mistake about it. The first blow was to the back of the victim's head. It was hard enough to knock him unconscious. Yet, despite the fact that he had been immobilized by the first blow, the defendant delivered a second fatal blow to the side of the victim's head. Which means what exactly? Oh. Asshole. I figured it would go right over your head. No, I get it now. Our whole defense thing. Let's put it this way. By striking the victim a second time, the defendant killed her late chance to escape from any criminal wrongdoing.
She did? But how, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defendant may have been fighting back because she was being attacked. However, she then went on to deliver a fatal blow to a man who was already fully unconscious. Nick, is he saying what I think he is? I don't feel so well. And thus, Mr. Wright, has justified self-defense been removed from the table. The prosecution intends to prove that the defendant killed the victim with murderous intent. Allow me to belatedly submit the victim's autopsy report. Oh my god. So that's why he was acting all smug. Well, more smug than usual. It's fine, right? It's not like we were going to plead self-defense anyway, right? Right, but now the judge has a negative impression on Ellen.
I certainly do.
He may not get to prosecute much anymore, but he definitely hasn't lost his touch. Still as snaky as ever. I open a soda. By the way, it's a full can because I played Beat Saber. I have earned it. I lost them calories. Is this the last part of the game, says Pink and White? Yes, it is. This is the final DLC trial, so we'll see how this goes.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Here we go. The murder weapon was a clock called the Timekeeper. BitMe streamed the VR dance Beat Saber. I mean, Beat Saber is kind of an interesting thing when it comes to streaming and whatnot, because I'm not going to be able to upload any of that footage to YouTube, because all the content ID, every single ounce of it. Holy crap. Final striatch. Anyway. Hold it. No, it wasn't. Hey, you don't know. Are you completely sure the murder weapon was the Timekeeper? Yes, completely. The shape of the injury on the victim's head matches up with that of the Timekeeper, and it's definitely heavy enough to kill someone with. But would the defendant have been able to pick up and swing something so heavy? I tried it myself, and I was able to lift it up just fine. Maybe you're just freakishly strong. Excuse me, Mr. Wright. I'll have you know that people on the force know me as the Dainty Forensic Investigator. Sorry. But really, you're hardly a delicate flower. Mr. Wright, This is a court of law. Save your antics for all after the trial, if you know how. Emma Strunk. Yes, sir. It won't happen again, sir. Moving on. The victim was hit with it from behind, and he fell over right into the lantern. Emma on those dainty roids. The defendant was fighting back against the victim, right? If so, wouldn't she have hit him from the front and not from behind? The victim must have tried to run once Miss Wyatt started fighting back. That's probably when he got hit from behind. I see. Thus the blow to the back of the head. The defendant must have looked awfully scary when she was brandishing that clock. I don't know about that. Regardless of how scary Ellen looked, the victim was definitely hit from behind. May I go on? Yes, of course. Please do. You know, it's interesting, now that we've moved over back to, like, you know, Phoenix and Edgeworth, this feels a heck of a lot more serious. I don't know what it is, like, I think just how vanilla both the defendant and, you know, like, the defender and the prosecutor are in this case. I'm so used to some over-the-top, ridiculous prosecutor on the other end. This almost feels like we're traveling back to murder mystery, and it's actually really... It's really refreshing. I wish there was more crap like that in, you know, more of the Phoenix Wright games. Like, we've gone too fanciful, if that's a good way to put it. I don't know. It's not like we've been grounded in reality for pretty much any of the entire series, considering the fact that we have a spirit medium directly sitting next to me, but whatever. The defendant was spotted then, standing in front of the body, holding the murder weapon. But that's only because she was so panicked when she found the body, that she tried to use the timekeeper to go back in time. Mr. Wright, do you have any idea how absurd you sound? Shadow says even DGS is a fancy prosecutor. Fluffy says, I'm back, what happened? Not much. We're currently, interrogating a private investigator. But Miss Wyatt really believed she could travel through time with that clock. You really should have come up with a more credible story, you know.
Yes, I agree.
Me three, but it's all I've got to go on. Anyway, under the circumstances, the only conclusion we could draw is that the defendant killed the victim. The victim was struck twice, by the way. Miss Wyatt must have had a chance to escape after she struck the victim the first time. So why would she stick around and hit him with such a heavy object again? Shadow says, I miss when the most outlandish part of a prosecutor's design was the cravat and not, I am a human spider. I know, right? Like, this is getting way too supernatural. I'm okay with having little bits and pieces of supernatural sprinkled in, but I really badly want to see more serious cases. You know, like, and especially, I'd like to see more vanilla stuff. Just like, you know, a murder happened to happen in this location, and maybe once in a while a weirdo shows up. It's like all of these cases are 100% wacko. Like, holy crap, like, the feature creep on these stories has gotten way too high. Wait, what is this spider, huh? Oh, you clearly didn't see one of the last cases of Spirit of Justice, where we had to quite literally fight basically a human spider, prosecutor. Queen Garon was scary. Well, about that. Allow me to explain. Why did she strike him again, indeed? To finish off the victim, of course. This very act clearly shows that she had every intention of killing Mr. Gloomsbury. She turned into a spider? Basically, yeah. Kirk. But Miss Wyatt would never do such a thing like that. Then let's see some evidence that disproves my theory. Ugh. Are you gonna just stand there and take that from him, Nick? I can't refute his claim head on, so I'll have to approach it from a different angle. Well, it looks like we won't be going anywhere until we can refute Edgeworth's claim. This is so exciting! We haven't taken on Mr. Edgeworth in ages! Yeah. Okay, Nick, now, go get him! No need to rush me, Maya. All right. I better start by comparing Emmett's testimony with the evidence we have, and look for any glaring inconsistencies. Right. The first inkling that I immediately have when it comes to this is that whole hit twice thing. And maybe we can refute it. I don't really know. I need to take a look at the evidence a little bit closer, though. So let me see. So we got the pendant worn by Ellen. It seems she received it from her fiancé. Ellen saw a suspicious third party on the Vista deck when she was being attacked by Gloomsbury. Okay, when Ellen was attacked by Gloomsbury out on the Vista deck, she saw in her dazed state a shadowy figure hit Gloomsbury from behind. She fainted immediately afterwards and thus didn't get a good look. Hello, Steel Phoenix. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a lovely evening. Or morning. I don't know where you live. Or maybe it's noon. Alright. I don't really know if the Flying Shuffle pamphlet would do anything. I mean, it's diagrams, maybe? The Pegabo lantern in which the victim's body was found. Throw his badge. Will this finally work? No, it never works. Okay, Gloomsbury's note. A note found near the victim's body. The writing is smudged. Let me see this. Grab Ellen when... yeah, convenient, and then send her off from the Vista deck. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Night, and you're doing good. Good to hear. Oh, dearie me. Owl, did you attempt to try and post some kind of a link? Yeah, Streamlabs stops that from happening now. No? What the heck did you type? It thought that it was... Oh, spamming emotes. What the heck does it count as spamming emotes? 4 emotes. Yeah, I gotta adjust that. Fine. Alright. I'll do that after the stream. Photo of the victim that was discovered. Sure. I don't know, the way that he fell. Was he hit in the back? It said he was hit in the back, so therefore, why the heck would he be lying up, facing up? That's not very cash money, your Streamlabs. Fluffy says, that note proves why Gloomsbury would have attacked her in a way. It details his plan being on the deck, not in the dining room, but that doesn't help right now. No, not really. And then there's the murder weapon, the fog machine, that probably doesn't do anything right now. Soren's, that's probably something superfluous and silly. A drawing Larry made from inside the cabin shows a pterodactyl. Because sure. Photo of the hole stealthily taken by Larry. Okay, let's take a look at the autopsy reports, because I feel like this is going to be important. Bloomsbury's head shows signs of being hit twice. The timekeeper was used as the murder weapon. Anything more? Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhage from a strong blow to the head. One contusion was found on the back of the head and one on the side. The blows were caused by the same weapon. I trust Larry. I don't. Yeah, it says on the side. All right, so let's take a look at the statements now. The murder weapon was a clock. Okay, I will not refute that. The victim was hit with it from behind, and he fell over right into the lantern. Interesting. The defendant was spotted then standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. Will not refute that. The victim was struck twice. Okay. So, all right. I will not refute any of the other 3, but this one definitely. How could she have hit him on the back of the head if she was defending herself? Again, the theory is that he ran away and then, you know, like, he realized, oh shit, shit's going down. And as he went to turn, she took the timekeeper and hit him in the back of the head. So, that's kind of the defense that they got going on right now. So I'm not really, I'm not having too much problem with that. But again, the victim was hit from behind, fell over right into the lantern. Well, let's think about that. You know, does this man, he must have did like a pretty fancy-ass flip to the side if he got hit in the back of the head and then managed to fall that way. He was laying on his back when the body was found. I don't feel like the way... No, I don't feel like the way he was positioned would work. So it's either that, or... What was this again? Righto. He would have been faced... That's what I'm thinking. Objection! Yes! Alright, we got it. Detective Sky, I'm afraid I have to apologize in advance. For what? For embarrassing you in front of your idol. What do you mean? If you take a look at this photo of the crime scene, you'll see that the victim is lying on his back. But if the victim had been hit from behind, as you claim, then he should have fallen over into the lantern face down. It's not enough to simply take someone's side, Detective Sky, even if Mr. Edgeworth, even if it is Mr. Edgeworth, is what I was trying to say.
There does appear to be a flaw in Detective Sky's testimony.
Mr. Wright, if you think I'm gonna just back right down, then you're sadly mistaken. Emma is unusually fired up today. Again, Edgeworth has, everyone's caught the Edgeworth vibes. Don't forget, she's in front of her hero, Nick. If the Steel Samurai came to watch this trial, I'd want to do my absolute best, too. Listen, Mr. Wright, it's entirely possible that the defendant moved the victim's body after he fell over. In that case, there wouldn't be any contradiction, right?
Indeed. That was an excellent counter-argument, Detective.
You can count on me, sir. So, what do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? Is it possible that the victim's body was moved after he fell into the lantern? You know, the fact that it's set up the way that it is, I kind of want to say no. No one can resist a man in a red uniform. Jesus. Yeah, why would she move his body to turn it upwards? God, the logistics of this is really silly. Just taking a look at this, it looks as though he crashed through it. It wouldn't really be easy for you to be able to, like, turn somebody. I guess it's possible, but it's kind of impractical as all hell. Sorry, Detective, but there's no way the victim's body was moved after his death. Oh, really? And what makes you so sure? One look at this here, and it should become obvious. Do you think it might have some... You think it has something to do with all the rubble and stuff? Paper? No. Well... You're right, the paper might have something to do with it. Because it was clearly... yes. Because the paper was clearly being held by that one hand. But you got a point there. The paper was held by that one hand because the other hand's covered in blood. I kind of want to say that's right. Take that! What exactly are you pointing at, Mr. Wright? Oh, this right here?
What are you trying to communicate is not obvious at all, Mr. Wright. But this penalty should make my feelings on the matter pretty obvious, even to you.
Oh, shoot. The only thing that's obvious right now is the pain in my attorney's badge. Maybe point to the bloody hand instead. You got a point. It might have something to do with the bloody hand. Take that! Oh, no, it has nothing to do with that at all. I'm gonna have to guess that this probably has to do with all the rubble that is on top of the body. Boy, we doing good. Shooting 1,000. Here, let's look at all the rubble that has fallen onto the body. Take that! Those broken bits of the lantern? Yep, there we go. That was my first thought. Yes, if the body had been moved after the fact, these fragments would have fallen off of it. But as you can clearly see, they're lying perfectly undisturbed on top of the body. This means that the victim must have been lying face up from before the lantern even broke. You're right! But wait a minute, if that's true, then when was the victim killed? I mean, the lantern was still whole during the reception, right? Right, which means we've just overturned a major assumption about this case. If the victim was already dead before the lantern was even broken, then the body must have been inside the lantern since before the reception started. In other words, the defense asserts that the victim was killed before the weapon... The weaponiderps.
The weaponiderps?
Oh god, I hate flubbing up lines just as I get to the end of them. In short, when Miss Wyatt was seen standing in front of the body after the reception, it wasn't the moment just after the murder was committed. It was the moment she happened to discover the body, just as Miss Wyatt claims. Ah! Whether the act was committed before or after the reception is entirely inconsequential. After all, it was the defendant who prepared the reception hall for the event in question. Therefore, when the murder occurred changes nothing with regard to her guilt. She could have killed the victim before the reception, as you claim, and then tried to hide the body in the lantern after the event ended. Objection! Sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. I mean, where would the body have been hiding during the reception in your scenario? That's... Even you have to admit it, Mr. Edgeworth, that this has opened up a new possibility. But do explain, Mr. Wright. Well, if Miss Wyatt didn't commit the crime in the reception hall, then that means someone, somewhere, put the victim's body into the lantern.
I suppose that makes sense. A dead body couldn't have put itself in there. Oh my god, it's a zombie, run!
Exactly, Your Honor. In other words, if the murder actually occurred before the reception, it opens up the possibility that he was killed somewhere else. The defendant didn't do it. He was killed some other way. That's interesting. I think that it would definitely be that he was killed somewhere else. Zombie lantern. If the body was hidden inside the lantern, then it's possible that the body was moved along with it from somewhere else. Oh, you're right. You can run that mouth of yours all you want, but do you have any evidence to support what's coming out of it, Mr. Wright? Of course I do. I think the answer lies in that piece of evidence, and in something that was left at the crime scene that will point us to where the victim was really killed.
Very well, Mr. Wright. In that case, what proves that the lantern and the body was moved from somewhere else?
All right. So what you guys mentioned before, the whole note situation. That is probably it, but just to cover my bases, let me think about everything. Yeah, no, it's probably the note. A note found near the victim's body. The writing is smudged, as though written by a right-handed person. Grab Ellen when convenient, then send her off from the Vista deck. Larry's drawing. No. It is not Larry's drawing. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the note. This proves that the murder took place. Uh-oh. This is not right, is it?
I'm afraid I can't say that I follow.
That piece of evidence won't help you make your point, Nick.
Yet another pointless piece of evidence from a senseless attorney.
Shoot. Fine, so this piece wasn't convincing enough. Then there must be something else that would be easier for the judge to understand. Alright, what proves that the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else? So, earlier on we were talking about... diagrams of the layout and whatnot. We got the Pega cow and the Pega bull. Love is always in the air in the Flying Chapel, the only wedding venue sure to make your dreams take flight. Sprocket Aviation mascots will light up the happy couple from both sides of the sweetheart table. Maybe not that. Suspicious party, no. The Pegabo lantern in which the victim's body was found. What was it? Did it have something to do with this in particular? Probably not, because I don't really remember those. All right, what proves that the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else? And the first thing I think is that there's those mysterious sort of flowers happening there. Did we ever get any confirmation about, like, where the heck those flowers even came from? Yeah, Fluffy's got the right idea. Well, then the question is, which one of these is it? I'm gonna go with this. Oh, balls. Boy, I think we're gonna be, we're gonna lose very early on here. Shoot. You know what? Just a mulligan it. Badge! This proves it!
That's your badge, Mr. Wright. That's enough. I see no need to further prolong this trial. The defense's case is insufficient to overturn the prosecution's claims. This court finds the defendant, Ellen Wyatt, guilty.
Again, we've only been streaming for like 30 minutes. My badge is valuable, Your Honor.
Not in this court of law, it's not. What proves that the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else?
Thank you very much for that little bit of help, Your Honor. Don't worry, Phoenix can time travel, it's right. Oh my god! Is that the realization we're dealing with here? The fact that Phoenix could time travel this entire time? The photo of the victim again? I'm kind of upset, because I feel like the broken lantern definitely should have worked there. Yes. I'd like the court to focus on this thing right here. Right, we were discussing the whole petals. Flower petals, Mr. Wright? These petals are from a kind of flower that were not present in the reception hall. This means that they must have gotten into the lantern when it was somewhere else. And just where do you propose this somewhere else to be, Mr. Wright? I propose that this piece of evidence will tell us where the flower petals came from. Oh my god, we're working on a whole lot of pieces of evidence here. Holy shit. I don't see no flower petals in this picture. Ooh, well, wait a minute. No, because ooh, here we go. Yeah, maybe it's got something to do with this picture because it's the photo of the hole and all that. Please take a look at the flowers in this picture of the hole. Notice how their petals are of the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo.
Yes, I see. They do look to be from the same kind of flower.
Don't you shake my head. No, I'm right. You know I'm right. Is that really all you've got? A flower is a flower is a flower. They're all the same. I would hardly call what you presented compelling evidence.
I'm afraid I couldn't disagree with you more, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave a flower of this type to my lovely wife once when we were young, so I can assure you that this is very meaningful and compelling evidence indeed.
Judge, you sappy individual, you.
The soundness of my judgment in this matter is backed by nothing less than pure love.
But Your Honor, you buffoon! Let it go, Mr. Edgeworth. It's clear you don't know much about flowers. It's not like you have any. It's not like you have anyone you'd actually give any to, after all. Oh, Phoenix, that was not relevant to the situation. Too harsh. But maybe you should study up on them, just in case the opportunity presents itself.
This from the man who only knows the names of 3 types of flowers.
That's hardly relevant to this case. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, you can't use that little defense, sir, Mr. Lawyer. The defense asserts that it's highly probable that the victim was killed in the hole. If the body was then placed in the lantern and moved to the reception hall for some reason, it would completely destroy the prosecution's case. Then you mean the body was... Yes, the victim's body was... inside the lantern during the entire beautiful wedding reception. While the defendant and her betrothed... Oh my god, betrothed. Sorry, I don't really use a whole lot of these words often. Betrothed were celebrating their love. What? Phoenix, why are you in front of the void image? No, no, no. Your smooth talk might work on his honor, but it won't work on me. What are you talking about now? Take another look at all the evidence and you'll soon see what I mean. I wish you would just tell me already. I'm extremely thick-headed, Edgeworth. Could you please explain this to me in very small English? Detective Sky, I'm sure you've already figured out what I'm talking about, correct? Of course, sir. Mr. Wright's the only one here who hasn't. Why don't you leave this to me, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well. Let's see what you can do. Edgeworth really out here like, you are not a clown, you are the entire circus. I remember that line.
Detective Sky, please give your testimony to this court.
Remember, the judge is the most thick of all of you. The victim could not have been killed before the reception. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. It's clear Mr. Gloomsbury was killed after the reception, and that completely contradicts your claim. I guess so. Tell me you took at least a cursory glance at the autopsy report, Mr. Wright. It appears you've grown rusty since our last outing. Might I suggest you go back and brush up on the basics? Sure, though I must say, you're as cocky as ever, Mr. Edgeworth.
I beg your pardon?
What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? I'm just saying that I'll go back to basics, if that's what Mr. Edgeworth wants. I'll prove how badly he's underestimating me with a good old-fashioned cross-examination. Edgeworth, are you wearing eyeliner? Just like, no, these are just the way my lashes look.
Very well. Let's see you put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Wright.
The victim could not have been killed before the reception. Yeah, says who? You sound pretty certain. You must have some solid grounds for making that claim, right? He cries and then black tears. How could you be so mean, Mr. Wright? Of course I do. And you're gonna feel silly when I show you what they are. Ready? Feast your eyes on this. The victim could not have been killed. Shut up, nerd. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. I've read the autopsy report too, you know. Then you don't need me to explain it to you, right? How there's no way the victim could have been killed before the reception, I mean? Detective Sky, I think you've overlooked something big. I have? Why don't you take another look at the evidence? But I've already looked at all the evidence, and quite carefully too, I'll have you know.
Detective Sky, do not be taken in by his verbal antics. He's simply bluffing as always.
Right, sir. No, I'm not bluffing, I swear. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. Is it possible that the culprit did something to obscure the real time of death? No, not in this case. There is no snow or anything to keep the body from decomposing, and there's no fridge on that airship big enough to fit a body into. So you've already checked into that, I see. It all comes down to the estimated time of death, doesn't it? Couldn't the killer mess with the victim's time of death by keeping the body on ice? Yeah, if they had the means to. The prosecution is treating the estimated time of death as an absolute. But is it really? I take it you don't think it is, huh, Nick? In that case, we're gonna have to find a way to convince them otherwise. Yeah, there's gotta be a way somehow. Dry ice. Interesting. You do bring up an interesting point. Anyway, the autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. Let me think about this for a second here. Time of death, September 20th, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhage, That seems about right, because it's after the wedding and the reception and all that. So... Photo of the... Okay, the hold. Photo of Soren's older sister, Selena. Looks like it was taken in some kind of office. No. A fog machine, a device that utilizes dry ice to emit a large amount of thick fog-like vapor. Yeah, let's definitely keep that in mind. So, we take a look at this. There's nothing that states anything about time within this thing. Yeah, honestly, the time of death, it could be skewed by putting the body on ice. And if it is dry ice, then that could work. But which one of these statements would work perfectly with it? The autopsy report states the estimated time of death was after the reception. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. Well, we're getting a lot of hints at the fact that, oh, well, you don't have any ice, do you? Well, what about this convenient little fog machine sitting over here? Objection! Oh my god! I admit that the estimated time of death does contradict my theory. Finally, that means your theory that the victim was killed before the reception is still entirely plausible. Duh! What makes you think that? The killer could have falsified the time of death by using a certain item in the reception hall. Please take a look at this.
And what is that contraption, Mr. Wright?
It's a fog machine, Your Honor, used to create a special romantic atmosphere in the hall.
And this machine could have been used to falsify the time of death?
Yes, Your Honor, because this machine uses dry ice to perform its magic.
Dry ice? I've never had a concoction that is both filled with ice and is also dry. Mr. Wright, are you talking about buffoonery? Yes, the super cold stuff. Oh, sorry. My brain rebooted. The super cold stuff commonly used to make theatrical fog, right? I see. So your claim is that this dry ice was used to keep the body cold?
Oh, in that case, I guess the victim could have been killed before the reception. The fog machine is in my evidence pocket. It's a bag of holding.
Order in the court. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this development?
That the victim was killed in the hold before the wedding reception? The prosecution acknowledges the possibility of this claim. Now we're getting somewhere. The prosecution would also like to thank you, Mr. Wright. For what? I didn't know how a certain piece of evidence fit into this case, but now, thanks to you, I do. What piece of evidence? To get into the hold, one needs a key card like this one. Oh, you have the hold entry record, you freaking asshole. All right. The last person that used it was Ellen Wyatt. Great. And here we have a record of those who entered the hold with such key cards. The times aren't specified, but these are the last 3 entries on the day of the murder. How convenient that the system didn't keep any of the time. And as you can see, the last person to enter the hold that day was the defendant. What?
So the one who moved the body out of the hole must have been...
That's right. It was none other than the defendant. But it was missing and found in the manor. Yeah, that's very true. But, you know, who are they gonna believe? The prosecution or me? The answer is the prosecution. Hey, Nick, take a look at this entry record. There are a couple other names on here besides Ellen. All right, let's take a look at this. Demos, Pierce, Nikhadi. Remind me again, who was Pierce? Oh, of course, this jackass. Yeah, I remember him now. Interesting. Hey, you're right. According to the entry record, Mr. Edgeworth, Pierce Nickety has also appeared in the... Okay, Nickety is pronounced Nick-a-D, all right. Pierce Nickety has also gone into the hole. Isn't it possible that he could have been the culprit?
Objection.
Sorry, but Mr. Nickety was escorting a few of the guests at the time. I'm sure they would be happy to testify to that fact if you like. Think me cocky all you like, Mr. Wright, but my confidence is rarely misplaced. The guy with spiked hair is correct because he says words and is the protagonist. Nope, that's not how it works. Ugh. Now then, it's probably safe to assume that after killing the victim in the hold, the defendant moved his body to the hall in order to dispose of it discreetly. What do you mean by discreetly? The defendant volunteered to take care of the reception's cleanup personally. That means she would have had the chance to dispose of anything in any way she wanted, including taking the lantern off the airship without raising any suspicion. Don't tell me you didn't know about Miss Wyatt volunteering for cleanup duty, Mr. Wright. Thank you for the 2 bits, Fluffy, I appreciate it. For my last task as a servant to the Sprocket household, I offered to take on the preparation and cleanup of the reception banquet. I see. Damn it. Ugh. Look at you, sweating buckets like a rookie, even after all these years. Nevertheless, thank you for proving that the only person who could have killed the victim in the hold is... Ellen Wyatt! Great job, Phoenix. Now we're back to square one. Perhaps you should ask Miss Sykes for some help in reviewing Defense for Dummies. Way to go, sir! You've got Mr. Wright in a cold sweat. I wonder if maybe the promise of seeing that miserable look on his face is what brought me back to the court today. It certainly made all of my stress and woes as chief prosecutor just melt away. I guess he had a lot of stress built up. I'll give him something to stress over before we're through today. Oh, excuse me. I kicked something up in my throat and I don't know what it is. Your Honor, the prosecution asks that you render your verdict at this time. Before that man over there tries to throw the court into chaos with his meaningless bluffs.
I see. Mr. Wright, are there any last meaningful bluffs you'd like to present to this court?
Oh, shut up. Why does he have to assume it'll be a bluff? Nick, hurry up and throw a good one out there. I will. Well, all right then. Let's see. I've got it. How do you know it was Miss Wyatt who used her key card? After all, if it turns out that somebody else used her card, it would mean Miss Wyatt didn't do it.
Interesting. And are you able to prove this bluff to be true?
I assure you, I'm not bluffing, Your Honor. Well, now what? Wait a minute, Nick. I can think of a certain somebody who might have used Ellen's keycard. You can? Remember? The one who was sneaking around the hold in spite of not being a family member? Oh, that's right. But now we're gonna slam him on the table for murder. Okay, that's perfectly fine. The jury requests a ritualistic human sacrifice. We require blood. It's the only thing that fuels us aside from drama. Your Honor, the defense would like to call a certain witness to the stand. I need the testimony of this person who may have entered the hold with Miss Wyatt's card. Help!
Take that!
That's your witness?
Are you saying that numbskull was on the airship? He never breathed a word about that to me.
That's not surprising because Mr. Nickety told him to keep quiet about it. But Mr. Butts himself admitted it to me. He claimed to have found a way to sneak into the Flying Chapel's hold to see Miss Wyatt. This photo he took and gave to me is proof.
Then it was he who moved the lantern with the body inside the reception hall?
You know as well as I that with him, anything's possible. And this is just one possibility we should definitely look into.
I can't believe this. What in the world is he doing mixed up in this?
Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Remember what we've been saying since elementary school?
When something smells, it's usually the butts.
Exactly.
Ugh, that Larry, he'll pay for this.
Well, if you want to extract your payment now, he's right up there in the gallery. Yikes!
Bailiff, seize the witness before he makes a run for it.
No! Why does this stuff always happen to me? Sorry, Larry, but you brought this on yourself. Breaking and entering, you asshole. Aw, Shadow has sent me a dog. Thank you very much for the dog.
Let us break for a 15-minute recess. I ask that both sides prepare for the next witness's testimony during this time.
It's go time. Slap Mr. Butts silly. Get an interrogation. September 22nd, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Wow, it's been a while since I've had this much fun and excitement. A face-off against Mr. Edgeworth, a harrowing tightrope walk for the defense. I'm exhausted already. Boss, oh, Athena, hi. I'm here for moral support. Oh, Athena, are you all done practicing for Trucy's magic show? Well, to be perfectly honest, I sort of ran away. But that's because she was putting my life in danger, I tell you. I see. I think I'll need to have a one-on-one with her. You're really athletic and fit, Athena, so Trucy probably thinks she can run you ragged. That may be true, which is why not even Trucy can keep up with me when I run at full speed. Uh-oh. Ha! Looks like you spoke too soon, Athena. Never underestimate the resourcefulness of a great magician. Huh? Magical girl, Trucy Wright, is on the scene. No! Now, Athena, it's time to practice human combustion magic. Go on, douse yourself with this gasoline. Not in this court. But don't worry, it's a magic trick after all, so it's perfectly safe. Third-degree birds. Run away! Hey, you! You're not getting off that easy. What a freaking cartoon. They get along so well, don't they? It reminds me of the good old days. You, me, and Pearly. Oh, and Detective Gumshoe. Can't forget him. Gumshoe! We had all kinds of fun at the crime scenes back then, remember? Yeah, we had so much fun with all the dead people. Leaving me to do all the serious investigating, as I recall. Glad to be back in session, Mr. Wright. Right, thank you. So Larry's the next witness, right? Can't wait to see what happens. Sadly, I can already imagine it. It's go time. September 22nd. I love how, like, everybody is occupied. It's just, like, ridiculous, stupid stuff going on. And I have no idea what part of the timeline this is currently happening in. So who knows if Apollo is anywhere nearby? Probably not. Splat has sent a very long highlighted message here. What the heck is it? My streams are, like, always super relaxing to listen to in the background. Splat? Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure about that? You don't want me to pull this out again, do you? God bless a Metal King Boo. Like, holy crap. Anyways. Dude, what? That's my soundboard. And by the way, you all have yourselves to thank for that. You all donated money, and that is what happened to it. You usually just put on some lore videos for stuff you'd rather have streams on for nice background rambles. Content is overall amusing. God, I hope it's at least amusing. A good use of every penny. Of course. Anyway, to September 22nd, District Court, Courtroom number 6. Oh, don't worry about that, sorry, Dash. Nobody needs to donate anything.
Court will now reconvene.
Nick? Itchy? The two of you are gonna hang me out to dry, aren't you? No, not the both of us. Just Mr. Wright. Nick, how could you? I don't really think he did it, of course, but I've got to use whatever leads I can. Mr. Butts, there's a possibility that you moved the lantern that had the dead body in it. So, if you want to clear yourself of any suspicion, all you have to do is testify. That's a lot harder to do with this individual.
Now then, your testimony, please, witness.
Splat says Twitch has bullied me into being unable to donate. How so? Have you just, like, gotten too much ad rev... Like, you know, have you gotten too many, you know, ads show up and you can't, like, make any bits out of it anymore? I don't even know if that system... Is that how that system works? I don't freaking know. Nick, you big fat stinking jerk! How can you doubt your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school. Well, okay, get this, pal. Our friendship's over. That's not a statement for what we need you to be testifying on.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Wright. He's all yours.
Don't throw me to the wolves, please. Why me? You're the one who called him to the stand, so he's your responsibility. Thanks, old chum. Can't any of you show me a little respect? Even just a shred?
You may cross-examine the buffoon, Mr. Wright.
I would if there were any testimony to cross-examine. Testificate. Nick is a jerk face. Oh my god. Oh, it's great. Shadow says, I have ad blocker on and can't turn it off without deleting the chat log. Oh. Man, don't worry. Nobody needs to donate anything to me. I'm just happy that you guys are here. Nick, you big fat stinking jerk.
Hold it.
Coach Z, you jerk. Coach Z, you jerk. Oh, that's really something. You jerk. Come on, Larry. Can you please give me something real to work with? Don't think I don't know about your tricks. If I say something careless, you're gonna shove some evidence at me with a loud objection and a super smug look on your face. Yeah, well, that is my job. And if I get found guilty, how are you gonna take responsibility for what you've done? Why should I take responsibility for just doing my job? You heartless jerk! Don't you have any compassion for me? How could you doubt your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school. I'm sorry, Mr. Butts, but if it wasn't Miss Wyatt that entered the hall with that card, then you're the most likely suspect. Nick, are you seriously doubting the innocence of your old childhood friend? Howdy, Aaron. How you doing? Well, technically, yes. But it isn't personal, I assure you. Oh, a true friend would believe me no matter what. Can't you see my tears? Don't they mean anything to you? Nick! Nick! You don't really think you can cry your way out of this, do you? Okay, fine. In that case... Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over. Larry, listen to me. Shut up! I'm not talking to you anymore. This is getting us nowhere. Come off it, Larry. If you don't quit fooling around and start testifying, Miss Wyatt will be found guilty. For real? Where have you been this entire court hearing? You were literally up in the balcony with people. What? I hate him more and more every day. Holy shit. Saren, feeling like a lazy person, despite feeding the people with some AU today. Ah, very nice, very nice. Oh my god.
If no new information comes out of this cross-examination, then yes, Mr. Butts, for real.
Now that I would have a not that I would have a problem with that myself. Larry, just tell us the truth already. Did you or didn't you go into the hold and move a lantern up to the reception hall? I never moved any ball lantern, I tell you. Ball lantern? What? Did I say something weird? You told me that you didn't attend the wedding reception. Can you believe they told me our family and relatives could attend? They wouldn't even let me into the reception hall. Yeah, so what? Then that's odd. No one in this courtroom ever mentioned the sex of the lantern that was moved. So how could you know it was a bull lantern? You didn't have to actually go to the reception to know that. Anyone could tell there were two peg of bulls by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet. All I can tell right now is that there's a strong scent of bull in the air in here. Please add that last statement to your testimony, Mr. Butts. I'm not saying it's not, but... anyone could tell there were two peg of bulls by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet. I'm just gonna go ahead and push it, because why the hell not? Seriously, Larry. If you're hiding something, you better fess up now. I'm telling you, I don't know nothing. Why do you have to doubt me so much? Why? Because you're you, that's why. Yeah, gee, you think Nick's being awful to me, don't you? So you tell him. Tell Nick what a big meanie he is. I would, if I thought he was being one. Not you too. Why doesn't anyone ever take my side? I wish I didn't have to doubt him. But something about what he just said doesn't add up. You finally got a decent statement out of him, huh, Nick? Yeah, finally. Sure took a lot of work, though. I hope all of this leads somewhere. Me too. Anyway, I think we know what's happening here. So let me just save here. All right, anyone could tell there were 2 Pegaballs by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet. Well, if you actually did, you'd find out that it's not 2 bowls. Objection! You dumbass. I want you to take a look at this, Mr. Butts. Because unfortunately for you, the pamphlet clearly shows a Pega cow and a Pega bowl in their example diagram of the reception hall. Huh? But on that day, instead of putting a Pega cow and Pega bull out for the bride and groom, there were 2 male Pega bulls on display. Yet, somehow, you knew there were 2 polygamous Pega bulls in the reception hall that day. There's only one way you'd know something like that, Larry. It was you who moved the Pega bowl to the reception hall, wasn't it? Ah!
No! Larry, you didn't. Mr. Botch, did you move the lantern containing the victim's body to the reception hall?
That's what it looks like. What? Pegasus and cow and bull combined. Yes, that's what that is. Wait, Nick! You don't think I'm the murderer, do you? Maybe you and Mr. Gloomsbury were fighting over Miss Wyatt and you ended up killing him? Maya! Not you too! Look, I did sneak into the reception, but that's as far as it went. You know me, I wouldn't hurt a fly. You snuck into the reception? Yeah, sure, but some of the Sprocket men caught and locked me up in one of the cabins. That was pretty awful, actually. But that's when I made that drawing of the pterodactyl I showed you, Nick.
What is this pterodactyl you speak of? Are we talking about dinosaurs now? Oh, you got such a childish brain.
That's what I'm thinking the judge is like right about now. Ah, hey Render, how's it going? I can't be the Meowdator. I'm Larry Butts. No, Meowdator is conductor. I can't be the Meowdator. Ixnay on the Aerodactyl Ptay, Larry. How do you do pig Latin with the word pterodactyl? Holy shit. Mr. Wright, not even you would take this farce that far, would you? We are talking about Larry. Do I accuse Larry of being the true... Why the hell not? I guess I have no choice but to accuse him. Wait a minute. But Larry didn't have any reason to kill Bloomsbury. Oh. Thanks for handing that one to me, game. I kind of just wanted to go with it, but sure. No, you're right, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Butts didn't have a reason to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. He might have had an imaginary reason to kill Soren Sprocket, sure, but not Mr. Gloomsbury. After all, he did steal Mr. Sprocket's bride and tried to elope with her. Just because I tried to steal somebody's bride doesn't make me a murderer. Pickleboyo says the only voice I can do is Chef Hatchet from Total Drama Island. Oh, dear God. I don't even know what that even sounds like. Give me a moment. This is unprecedented as hell for the stream. But, like, I'm too curious. I'm going to mute the desktop, and I'm going to look that up. Chef Hatchet. Okay, do we have... Where are you at? Ooh. All right, I'm taking a listen to it. To the Google. Yeah, pretty much. So that's interesting. It's basically a Drill sergeant / chef. I like it. 10 hut. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway. I believe you, Larry, and I don't think you killed anybody either. You would never do anything like that. Nick, old buddy, old pal. I knew you'd come through for me. Phoenix is just stretching out that sentence for time. It's just like, thanks. Hard thanks. Funny that, considering your sworn testimony just now that we were, though.
Mr. Botts, it's time you told this court the whole truth. Understood?
All right, let's cross our fingers and hope. I gotta say, I really like the way that they've re-rendered everybody in 3D. Like, you could very easily have made everybody look like really off by making them into 3D characters, but they were really, really good at making everybody like, you know, their silhouettes are exactly the same, and I appreciate the hell out of it. It's just like Nick said, I'm the one who moved the lantern. Okay then. But why? I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. There was a note on it that said, exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen. So I decided to do Ellie a favor. Funny Stuff says, I think I like the 3D models more than the 2D sprites. More life to them. That's actually really true. There's a lot more frames of animation. And, I mean, especially, I don't know what it is, but there are a lot of people that complain to hell and back about the fact that the HD trilogy sprites, they just look very pastel-y. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, you know, they are drawings. They always were drawings, but they're kind of lifeless and cut out. And it's a little bit nicer to see everything in, like, full 3D, and it's a little less cel-shaded. That and the weird thing they did with the eyes for the longest time in the series. Like, Jaluxia says, Larry actually looks solid in 3D. I mean, the new outfit, too. I can still remember Larry's old outfits from Ace Attorney and Justice for All. Oh, yeah, he's definitely as flamboyant as a flamingo at this point.
So, you switched the lanterns before the reception, did you? Then that means the victim really was killed before the reception.
Ding, ding. It would appear that Mr. Butts completely fell for the defendant's scheme. Scheme? What scheme? This note from the defendant. Exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen. Mr. Butts moved the lantern with the body in it up to the reception hall because of this note, and thus he has become a suspect in Mr. Bloomsbury's murder. Gulp. That second lantern did feel pretty heavy. But I never would have thought there was a dead body in it. Ugh, what was a note like that doing on a lantern in the first place? You've got it all wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. I left that note for myself. It was simply a reminder because I can be very forgetful. What a sorry excuse, Miss Wyatt. The prosecution contends that this note shows one facet of the defendant's murderous plans. And you, Mr. Butts, you played right into Miss Wyatt's hands. No way, Edgy! I don't believe it! Do you still really believe Miss Wyatt's to be the culprit, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course, my stance on the matter remains unchanged. If you think I'm wrong, then prove it with your cross-examination. Gladly.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
And finally, we have something substantial to work with. Holy shit. Edgeworth, you're acting pompous in front of an assumed murderer who is carrying a frying pan. I don't know. You think she could chuck the frying pan from this, from this angle? It's just like Nick said. I'm the one who moved the lantern. Why didn't you tell us that sooner? Because I knew you guys were gonna be suspicious of me, that's why. We're suspicious of you now because you tried to hide it. My thoughts exactly. Well, now I've told you. Happy? So how about letting me go? No, not yet. We need you to stick around to sort a few things out. Fine. Demo pan. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. The lantern you swapped out was a female Pegamoo. A Pega-cow, right? But yeah, I guess. Why did you replace a female lantern with a male one? Goffy, shaggy-like dude. Like Zoink Scoop! Because I was too busy trying not to get caught. I didn't have time to check for a little detail like that. If you didn't want to get caught, you could have just left well enough alone, you know. Ah, whatever. Anyway, when I took a look at the broken lantern, I saw there was a note on it that said, exchange with the one in the hole, Ellen. That note wasn't addressed to you, was it? Well, I guess not, but how could I let my dear, sweet Ellie do all that hard physical labor on her own? It's precisely that thought process that constantly gets you in trouble, Larry. Besides, it was my big chance to show her how much I cared about her. So I decided to do Ellie a favor. Nobody saw you the whole time while you were switching the lanterns? Nope, I didn't get caught. Not that time, anyway. Not that time? Yeah, when I tried to sneak into the reception hall the first time. I didn't have as much luck. Those Sprocket guys spotted me and nabbed me. Yeah, maybe you should have taken that hint and not done what you did. Oh, oopsies. I skipped through it. What was it? All of my words are failing me right now. Pretty exciting, don't you think? Larry, you need help. And then they locked me up in one of the cabins. Nick, what are you asking about stuff like this for anyway? Shouldn't you be trying to prove Ellie's innocence? Well, is that statement of his important to this case? Sure. Mr. Butts trying to crash the reception and subsequently getting locked up in a cabin. I believe these might be important facts in this case, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Boss. Please add that statement to your testimony.
I tried to sneak into the reception hall, but I got caught and locked up in a cabin. So you got locked up. Then what happened? I broke out. Then I started looking for Ellie and wandered in the reception hall again. That's when I saw the broken lantern and replaced it. Even after they caught you and locked you up, you still went looking for Miss Wyatt? But hold on a minute. What is it, Nick? Maya, doesn't something seem weird to you? Larry is saying he replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. That's right. Oh, wait. Huh. You're right. It doesn't make much sense, does it?
Mr. Wright, have you found an inconsistency in the witness's statement?
I don't know. Let me go ahead and save here, just to make sure. Larry escapes jail. Yes, I believe so, Your Honor. Mr. Butts moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. What could the combination of those things do? I'm trying to think. Larry has committed several war crimes, leaving a message in the dirt. What inconsistency is that? The first thing I think is that maybe it has something to do with seeing the, Are there any, like, good pictures of things, or... Drawing Larry made from inside the cabin, it shows a pterodactyl flying outside the window. Let me take a look at this. Hold entry record. A record of the key card used to access the airship hold. Yeah, wait a minute. No. I think this contradicts with it. Because if you look at the hold entry record, you'll see that, like, Damas came in first, and then... Actually, wait, no. No. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Never mind. I'm a dummy. It's a suspicious third party. Lantern in which the victim's body was found. Larry wheeled it from the hold to the reception hall before the reception began. He'll be in his late 70s and still getting in trouble. I don't know what you're talking about. I was just trying to give her a smooch. I don't understand what... Oh, God. 70-year-old Larry Butts sounds hilarious in my head. I hope that you guys are getting the same idea. What are you talking about, okay? I was just trying to get... whatever. I'm 70. I'm still spry. Fluffy says, I have no freaking idea on this one. Not even any off-the-wall spitballs. Shoot. Jalaxia says, that's why I even said it in the first place. It's a good point. Oh, shoot. Let me think. Mr. Butts moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. Photo of the reception taken by a relative. Much of the reception hall is obscured by thick fog. Taking a look at this, you can't really easily see any of the statues at all, or the lanterns, why not? Throws badge. Badge will not help us in this situation. We're screwed. Oh, wait a minute. Look at those guys in the back. Move the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. I think it might be this. Let's try this.
And in what sense does that piece of evidence contradict with his statement?
It doesn't contradict it at all, does it? Indeed. What are you talking about? Oh, don't mind me, Your Honor. It looks like I just made a tiny mistake. That's all. Oh, shoot. Tried to sneak into the reception hall, but I got caught and locked up in a cabin. All right. I clearly messed it up in this situation. Got locked up, but then what happened? Larry is saying he replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. That's right. Oh, wait, huh? You're right. Doesn't make much sense.
Mr. Wright, have you found a thing?
Yes, I've done a thing. Mr. Butts moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with... I guess we don't really have any penalties in this situation, so that helps. That's good. Let me see. Diagrams and layouts. Okay. Move the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. You know what? Hold on a second. Do you think it might have something to do with the layout of the blimp? Let me see. Nope, it has nothing to do with that. Gotcha. Whatever, I can just try stuff. Phoenix's hand points out of his grave with a muffled objection. Over his dead body. He died of natural causes. Okay, so that isn't right. Move the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. The lantern in which the victim's body was found. Maybe it... Okay, so perhaps it contradicts with the broken lantern itself. And a showing of something that shouldn't be in the lantern that is broken.
Take that. Is that?
Yes, it's the broken lantern, Your Honor. Mr. Butts, what you're saying doesn't make any sense at all. What? Why not? You swapped the lanterns before the reception began, right? Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it? But you also just said that you swapped the lanterns after you got locked up in a cabin for trying to sneak into the reception. In other words, you're saying you swapped the lanterns both before the reception and after the reception took place.
That certainly doesn't make any sense, does it? Mr. Botts, did you swap the lanterns before or after the reception?
Everybody in the chat is talking about zombie lawyers and stuff. Like FB specifically saying zombie lawyer. Old people are immortal, says sorry Dash. I don't know, in this universe the judge is still around. Which was it, before or after? There's a world of difference between the two. Ace Attorney, justice never dies. Well, Mr. Butts, I guess I can't explain guys like you to understand. Wait, what? In a nutshell, it was both before and after the reception. What? I tried to sneak into the first reception and got locked up. The first reception? Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. Then, through the power of Ellie's pendant, time got rewound, and we went back to the time before the reception. Oh boy. Oh no. It was after that when I replaced the lantern. So it was both before the reception and after the reception. Get it? Uh-oh. We went back in time to before the reception. So of course the reception would take place one more time after that, right? That's why, okay, that's why what I said makes perfect sense. Not to anyone else in this courtroom! Mr. Wright, what in the world is this witness talking about? Has he developed some sort of intellectual ailment I'm not aware of since I saw him last? Well... None of the sprockets seem to remember the time skip, but I do. And Ellie remembers it too. I think the power of our love for each other made that miracle happen.
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but could you please translate this man's gibberish so the rest of us can understand?
Larry has Terminal 7. Nah, I got Terminal 9 at this point. Yeah. So now I have to be the one to explain about the whole time travel thing. Go on, Nick. I know you can do it. Looks like you don't have much choice, Nick. To heck with it. I can't lose any more of my dignity today anyway. Oh boy, here we go. The defendant, Miss Ellen Wyatt, has told the defense the following strange story. She said that after the reception ended, she was attacked by Mr. Gloomsbury. She claims that as she was being assaulted, she made a wish upon her pendant. Please take me back to that blissful moment. In doing so, time apparently rewound itself to just before the reception began. What? I know it's hard to believe, but think about it this way. Through the power of the pendant, both Ellen Wyatt and Larry Butts experienced time travel. What? Oh, no.
Objection.
What absolute rubbish!
Mr. Wright, I've heard my fair share of your nonsense over the years, but this takes the cake. Have you thoroughly lost your mind?
But this is simply the conclusion I came to, using that logic ability you love so much.
This isn't logic, this is horsewash. What?
The truth of the matter is, the future president of Sprocket Aviation, Soren Sprocket, has been researching time machines. So, what if a time machine has already been successfully created? And what if that's one of Sprocket Aviation's top secret inventions?
A time machine?
Yeah, I even saw something while we were time traveling. I saw a pterodactyl flying through the sky. Maybe the airship was set to travel through time for their honeymoon trip.
What? Pterodactyl? You can't possibly have any evidence to back up your ridiculous time travel story.
Well, pushes glasses up nose. Actually, that's a pteranodon.
As I thought. In any case, I now have the evidence to prove that you're no more intelligent than Larry.
Hold it. Not so fast now, Angie. I'm not the same old Larry you used to know.
Oh?
You want evidence? I got your evidence right here. This is a photo I secretly took of the first reception.
What?
What? I could have been handed this evidence, Dudski. Larry, I can't believe you... Well, anyway, good job. If we compare the photos of the first and second receptions and can find a difference, then we'll be able to prove that the reception was held twice.
But do you really think such a difference exists?
Yes, Your Honor. I just need some time to find it for you.
This is preposterous. Very well. Please show the court what's different then.
This is proof positive that the wedding reception was held twice after I saved, Your Honor.
After you do what?
After I... No. Here we go. No, we're taking a look.
The soup is dry!
No. What's different? Let me see. There's the flowers. Candelabra. And then we got the fog going on. If time travel is too much for this court, I doubt they'd be able to handle save states. Brain immediately ruptures. I'm trying to take a look here. It's got to have something to do with the bride and groom, because they are like clearly framed within this picture. But what specifically is different about it? Maybe it has something to do with the groom? I don't know. Oh, Shadow says they see it. Okay, let me see. You think it's the flowers? You know, I really wish I had, like, you know, a comparative photo and I could play a little game of I Spy, but no, apparently not.
Edge, you're telling me if you lose, you can reload? How is that fair for me?
Okay, I mean, I also have to keep in mind, this is on a 3DS screen, so it's not going to be a very tiny, minute amount of detail or anything. You know, it's going to be something very blaringly obvious. So... Man, it's got to have something to do with the bride and groom. I'm just going to... Here it is! This is proof that the reception was held twice.
Where?
Right here, Your Honor.
Right where?
Right? Not here, maybe?
It appears you missed the mark, defense. I hope you take better aim next time before you fire off that mouth of yours.
But my aim is usually impeccable. I better take a good look at the 2 photos before I answer again. This is proof positive. Okay, I don't think it has to do with the bride and groom then. So, okay, you guys, do you think it's the bouquet? Do you think it's the bouquet? Could be the bouquet. I don't know, we'll see. Please direct your attention to Miss Wyatt's bouquet of flowers. In the photo one of her in-laws took, the defendant is holding a yellow bouquet. But in the photo Mr. Butts took, she's holding a red bouquet. You're right.
That's impossible! What does this mean?
It means that the defendant really did experience 2 wedding receptions. And she did that when she traveled back through time.
What?
Pickle Boyo says, before they were orange. No, they were a little bit more yellow. But if you think about this, if somehow these 2 timelines merged, they would become orange. Mind blown. Nick, you did it! You proved Ellen's time travel story to be true, somehow. Yeah, I can hardly believe it myself. It's just as Ellen said, the reception was held twice. This turns every assumption we've based this trial on upside down. Yes, sir, what do you have to say?
I refuse to accept such a ludicrous argument. It is pure fiction under the guise of pseudo-science at best. There's simply no such thing as time travel.
I know it's hard, but can't you suspend your disbelief for 1 nanosecond, Edgeworth? I bet sci-fi movies push all your buttons the wrong way, don't they, Mr. Edgeworth? I could totally picture you yelling, "Oh, that'd never happen," every 5 seconds at the screen.
What are you to aliens? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that if aliens actually did exist, they certainly wouldn't look like that. That's just gaudy and silly. Also, what's the functionality of that outfit? It seems like it's way too much flair and it wouldn't actually protect you in space. Also, how did you manage to get the shields working on that equipment? That doesn't make any sense either. No kind of technology like that exists at all. It also bends time and space around itself. That's very strange. Also, this planet here, wouldn't most aliens survive but humans die? Why are they both on the exact same planet? And furthermore, and then somebody just knocks him out.
Maybe you should stay away from movie dates altogether.
That's neither here nor there. This is real life we're talking about. But the proof is clearly shown in the 2 photographs.
That's right, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how
Fine. I'll entertain your absurd delusions. If only to demolish it before your very eyes.
What?
Let's start with this then, shall we? There's one thing your, timey-wimey stuff time travel theory fails to explain. And that is the memories of the other guests there. The defendant and Larry remember the reception occurring twice. But no member of the Sprocket family has even mentioned such a thing.
That's because the time machine is classified...
I'm not done, you bird brain.
Bird brain?
As I was saying, if the entire family had been sworn to secrecy, then why hadn't they sworn the woman who was marrying into the family to secrecy too?
That's a good point.
Honestly, all of it takes a little common sense, Mr. Wright. Even still, how do we know that the trip through time did not really occur? There is proof in the photos that it did, and besides, if time travel doesn't exist, well, I'd be a little disappointed, frankly. I was hoping to go back to the days of my youth.
You mustn't allow yourself to be taken in by Mr. Wright's whimsical tales, Your Honor.
I've read about it in various literature, you see.
And they all say that time travel is just not logically feasible. Maybe our argument was just a little too nonsensical, Nick. Oh, shoot. Apparently Streamlabs is blocking Twitch clips? Freaking really? Okay. Wow. I gotta fix that shit. Oh my god. Again, we will fix all these things in time. You just need to let me know that they're problems. By the way, thank you very much for the people that have clipped tonight. I appreciate it. Well, in that case, why don't we put common sense to the test? Excuse me. The wedding reception was held twice. The photos are proof of that. But it wasn't because of time travel. It's simply because the reception had actually been held twice. Isn't that the most reasonable way to interpret the situation?
Would you care to elaborate, Mr. Wright?
Al says your streams are quality meme material. Are you sure?
Are you sure about that?
If time travel doesn't exist, then there's only one way to make sense of what happened. Somebody must have orchestrated this strange phenomenon, and that somebody is everyone at the reception. Gloomsbury. I'm laughing at the thing below it. God. I'm gonna guess it's everybody. Peels away fabric of reality. Are you sure about that? What if all the guests at the reception conspired together to hold the reception twice and keep quiet about it? What? And for what purpose would they conspire to do such a thing? Well, John Cena. Ooh. Brilliant deduction. Oh. Hello. Yes! Hello.
I can tell that you are not a renowned lawyer for nothing. I must say, I underestimated you.
How so, Mr. Nickety?
You have managed to name each event precisely as they happened. You have revealed it all to the light of day.
Then, that means... Funny Stuff says Maximilian Pegasus. You're right. I would give him Maximilian Pegasus, but that's a little bit too Edgeworth.
It was us. We orchestrated the whole thing. Yes, the reception was held twice. But not because of time travel, no. We simply held it a second time.
What? Why? Why would you do such a thing?
To make it as though the murder Miss Ellen committed never happened. Master Soren figured that if Miss Ellen who'd killed Gloomsbury after the first reception, experienced the reception one more time, she would think it was all a dream. It was he who ordered us to make it happen. However, only a few, myself included, knew of Miss Ellen's crime.
Are you saying most of the guests attended 2 receptions without knowing why?
Indeed. They need no reason. Master Soren told them to do it, and do it they did. That is the Sprocket way.
Then who hid the body in the lantern?
We did. But we did not anticipate the petals finding their way in, nor the actions of Mr. Butts.
And that's how you intended to cover the whole situation up?
There's just one thing everyone here is wrong. The real scene of the murder was not the hole. It was the Vista deck.
What? Then White's recollection of the events must be correct.
I admit we tried to cover that incident up, but the fact that Miss Ellen killed Gloomsbury is undeniable.
This is quite the turn of events.
Oh boy. Question marks from the audience, or hey, who? And so it appears we have arrived at the truth at last. Of course, everything's leaning in your avenue, so you're just happy as a bun. bit, I have like 97 highlighted messages or something. Chat jury has come to the conclusion. I'm sorry, I'm very sucked into the story. We need Snatcher to read highlighted messages. No. I'm very selective with that. I will make the decision on what messages be read by the Snatcher. Now. Please do feel free to travel back in time, Mr. Wright, and attempt to do this trial over again. Go on. Let's not get hasty, Edgeworth. We're gonna rock down to Edgeworth Avenue, and then we take it higher. I bet you can't do it. I bet I can't either. Your Honor, we will have to hold a separate trial for the cover-up conspiracy later. But as for this case goes, I believe we are ready for your ruling. Can Snatcher say butts? I'm sure he probably could. I certainly won't, though. Oh, God. Just before the defendant lost consciousness during her attack, she said she saw someone strike the victim. It's possible that the third party is the true culprit. You still want us to believe the defendant's words? Perhaps you've lost more than your touch during your time abroad. I saved an entire country, you jackass. This third-person nonsense is nothing but rubbish, and you know it. But by the same token, how can we trust those who conspired and lied to fool this court of law? For all we know, they might still be hiding something. Ugh. You never know when to quit, do you? You don't know the half of it.
Now, calm down, both of you. In any case, there isn't enough trustworthy information yet for me to render a verdict. I suggest we continue the trial after both sides have investigated the matter further.
Very well, Your Honor.
Whew, that was close.
Mr. Nickety, as for you and your cohort's attempts to cover up this crime, your case will be brought up to a separate trial following the resolution of this current one.
Understood, Your Honor.
Well, then, this concludes today's trial. Court is adjourned.
Thank the Lord. Yeah, we need more information, man. Like, I want to know more, like, the nitty-gritty. I was also, for a little bit there, I was kind of wondering, because I've got this strange thing here, you know, Mr. Persnickety over here. I was kind of thinking that, like, he was coming up to the stand, and I'm like, are we ending this trial here? Like, I feel like you might have done it. Like, holy shit. Like, are we doing it? Is this it? No. Okay, apparently this is going to keep going. He's too calm. Yeah, that's another thing I don't like about him. Okay, well, the next time that we play this game, we're going to be diving back into, I guess, taking a look at more stuff that happened on that blimp, and maybe we'll find some more dirty laundry. I certainly hope so. Pickle Boy sounds, Pierce looks like the type of guy even I could beat up.
Oh, please, no. Oh, God, what did I do? What did I do to you? Ah.
Fluffy says, I'm going to be real proud of myself if it turns out I'm spawning with my theory, because so far, damn. I mean, I had that one theory the last time that I said, you know, the whole, I feel like this was, I mean, we've already gotten confirmation that, yes, the ceremony happened twice. But what I imagine, and the reason why it happened twice in the first place and why it was so easy to convince everybody to do the reception twice is the fact that this was all a completely elaborate staged thing so that the bride, you know, the bride-to-be would experience the ceremony twice and therefore feel like time travel is totally possible. And, you know, this is a big old flex of the Sprocket family and whatnot. Like, that's the whole thing. I think that is exactly what's going on here. And it just so happened that it happened in the worst way possible. You know, and then suddenly a murder happened, and now it's just a mess. You know, God, funny enough, I was talking about murder cases and things like that with my mom recently, which is weird. She was talking about how she really badly wants to go on a cruise, but I mentioned that, like, going on a cruise, you know, it's really expensive to go on one, first of all. So, I mean, technically speaking, yeah, a lot of people spent a lot of money, and I feel like nothing really bad could potentially happen on a cruise, but at the same time, there is always the chance that some crazy lunatic just so happened to get enough money to be able to afford a cruise, and they just decide to do something horrible, like push somebody overboard without anybody seeing. Speaking of murder to my mom. Hey, I mean, these things come up. My mom really loves murder mysteries, I'm sorry. And that's something that, like, I would bring up. So I don't know. I probably would not want to go on a cruise ship simply because it would be very easy for somebody to just, like, shove you off and then nobody ever finds your body. Like, nope, not okay with that. I'm much more interested in being on something like an airplane, which is, like, battened down to hell and is very, like, you know, crashes in airplanes rarely happen. And I mean, either that or, like, going on a train, perhaps. A train! That I think that'd be fun. A Pink and White Bat says, this game makes me think of Professor Layton. It should. And if it makes you think of Professor Layton that much, you know, disgusting self-plug, I have played Phoenix Wright X Professor Layton thing. So if you wanted to take a look at any of that footage, you can find it on the VOD channel, like the YouTube VOD channel. I mentioned it the other day. If you wanted to see any of the previous series that I've ever done on the VOD channel, an easy way to do it is going over to the playlist area, because I have been very diligent in making sure that everything is added to, like, its own independent playlists and stuff. It's a good place to go and take a look at games that I have already played. But anyway, oh yeah, Jaluxia says, you'd like Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton game, Pink. Facts. Okie dokie, I think that will pretty much do it for the stream tonight. So, thanks everybody who came out tonight, and especially thanks to people that did any kind of random donations. Also, it looks like, oh, interesting. They changed the way that the layout is on this mini feed in Streamlabs. So that's very interesting. And also frustrating, because now I don't know where my button is to start up the credits. Where are you? Shoot. All I see is, like, the notifications for, like, all the things that you guys have been sending donation-wise, which, again, thank you very much for that. But where's my button to roll the credits? Shoot. I could just retrofit this a little bit. Give me a second. I'm gonna do just that. Streamlabs OBS. Is it in Streamlabs OBS? I believe it is. Here it is. Okay, I do have a means of pressing a button. There we go. That's nice and convenient. There's our stream break. I'm sorry, I try so hard to make things work. Why did they take out that function? That was so convenient to be able to just flip over there and take a look at the credit sequence. Shoot. Okay, whatever. Regardless, I have a way of doing it. So it's fine. Anyway, so like I said, I've been uploading the VODs to the YouTube channel, and funny enough, I've been working on it, and very, very soon I'm going to have all of the VODs uploaded to the main channel, and they will be releasing one a day for, holy crap, I think like another month. So, oh, Pickleboyo has donated one pride flag. Hold on, were you part of the people that previously did donations and stuff? Let me see. I don't really know, because I would like your name in the credits if that's the case. Where are you? Nope, you're not in here. Let me press it again just to refresh it. There you go. And now there's Rose. Stop making me press buttons. Son of a bitch. Oh, again, thank you very much. It's never necessary to send any kind of donations, but it's very nice when you do, and it allows me to do, little updates to the system, like adding the stream deck, so I can do horrible meme sound effects. Anyway, my stream is on Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday, all of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And tomorrow, I'm thinking tomorrow I want to play a little bit of Hat in Time mods, which, by the way, I want to point this out to you guys. I mentioned it in an update comment just recently. I feel really bad about this. The Christmas episode that we did of the Hat in Time mods, I didn't check the footage after we were done, mostly because it was Christmas and I was, you know, I was busy. And unfortunately, I guess the VOD, my recording of the VOD ended up breaking. And pretty much all of it is entirely unusable. It's just audio and it sucks. And I can't download it from Twitch because the VOD has already been deleted from there automatically after 7 days. So yeah, we lost all that. I'm going to revisit like one or two things in particular when we go and play it the next time around. But anyway, no, we should have some very interesting Hat in Time mods, and I'm excited to play it. Oh, and as well as also there should be a mod that has just literally come out, like just now. Literally the first, most recent mod that was released. That's interesting. It might have a tiny little piece of me in it. Just a little bit of a heads up. And maybe you should go and play it. And then after that, I don't really know what else I'm going to be doing. I've got so many games that I need to play. Like, I need to play... Oh, hey, Void Spartan is here. Hi! Void Spartan. Fallout! Anyway. Again, I've got so many games. Like, Hollow Knight's something I gotta play. I really want to play Super Mario 64 very soon. I want to play, Spyro the Dragon. A whole crap ton of things. Which, by the way, while we're talking about the Super Mario 64 thing, I just recently picked up this. I know I'm going on a whole bunch of tangents today. Well, thank you for the 10 bits, Void Spartan. Let me refresh the credits just so you get slipped in. Thank you very much. But anyway, no, I just recently picked up this Retrobit Tribute 64 controller. And let me tell you something. This thing, it's so nice. I don't know why I waited so long to finally pick up one of these things. It is so liquidy smooth. If you don't know what this is, it's basically an N64 controller, except, well, first of all, I got the USB version, so it connects to your computer. But on top of that, it improves the layout design of the Nintendo 64 controller so that it's not stupid. Like, it's only got 2 handholds. It's got all of the buttons, and they basically feel 100% like the N64 controller. And the control stick, it's a completely different control stick. It lines up a little bit more with a GameCube controller, except the texture on the top of it feels a little bit like the N64's control stick. Slightly changed, so that, for the sake of convenience, but it feels very nice to use. The only thing that I think I don't like is the fact that there's no way to set up any kind of rumble pack in it because it doesn't have the rumble pack connection. I have no idea why. Like, USB controllers for N64 emulation just don't like to do that for some reason. I don't get that. And also the triggers are a little bit awkward to use. I kind of wish there was a different way they integrated them, but right, I guess there's my N64-esque controller review at the very end and stapled for this thing. The control stick is blister-proof. Fluffy, you say that, but you're absolutely right. It's nice and rubbery on the top, and I'm just imagining somebody who is playing like Mario, Mario Party or something. The amount of spinning you can do with this thing is amazing now. And I kind of want to just buy a whole round of these things because they have 2 different versions of it. They have a USB version, but they also have a version of it that actually connects to a legit N64. Have I ever tried the HoriPad? The HoriPad is actually, I think it's based off of the Retrobit is the HoriPad's actually what the Retro. Wait, oh no, let me think about this. I might be thinking about something else. Let me look this up real quick just to see. The HoriPad. Are you talking about the HoriPad for the Nintendo Switch or? Oh wait, no, HoriPad N64. Oh, right, yeah, the HoriPad. I believe the HoriPad is actually what the Retrobit controller is heavily based off of. The only difference is that with the Retrobit version, sadly, the HoriPad is very difficult to get your hands on, as far as I know. Um, maybe it's a little bit easier now. Not entirely sure. Come to think, is that even still in production anymore? I'm very confused about that. Yeah, how much does it cost? Let me check. Oh, Amazon, get the heck out. Oh yeah, 2 used ones for $83.35. No. If you want a good controller like this on a budget, you're not going to go for that. But the Retrobit controller, it is pretty much the exact same shape as the HoriPad, and it pretty much has the same kind of quality built behind it, except it's being made by Retrobit. Which, you know, I've bought stuff from Retrobit in the past that it's not necessarily the greatest quality. Like, I remember, I bought like a clone NES console from them, and that was really crap. It had really crappy NES emulation kind of stuff, like where it was reading off of cards, but it was really bad at replicating what it would look like and sound like on an NES. As well as it came with controllers that were complete crap, and if you didn't have like original NES controllers, you were kind of shut out of luck. So yeah, Retrobit has not always had the best products, but the Retrobit's Tribute 64 is actually really freaking good. It especially, it brings back the nostalgia without any of the stupid pain of dealing with the controller. Anyways, you know, now that I've just shelled out an absolute crap one of, you know, a crap amount of stuff about this controller, I think I need to get the heck out. Oh yeah, Void Spartan says, I have one of them, translucent green. I have translucent blue. It is so nice. Once again, I have an N64 sitting behind me. I kind of want to just get one of these things for the N64. That's how good they are. They're so good. Retrobit, eh? Is that like you, but old-timey? Do I even have a filter to be able to do that, by the way? Hold the phone.
Do I even have an old-timey filter in here? If I don't, I need to work on that.
Fluffy Boyo says, I miss the N64. The more I think about it, the more I realize I don't. I don't miss the N64. You know, in theory, the nostalgia, it's there. Oh, yes, I love the N64. But then you go back and you realize, oh, right, look at all the games that existed on, like, the PlayStation. And, you know, like, you know, the Sonic consoles, the Dreamcast, and the Master System, and, you know, the Genesis. There were a lot of things going on that you probably, you know, that probably would have been cooler to get. Well, I will say, yeah, nostalgia does definitely key into that. Oh, Fluffy says, I only had Nintendo, straight up. Fluffy says, I've got like 16 consoles. Oh, look at the rich kid over here. Shadow had a PS2 and a Dreamcast, but never any Nintendo consoles aside from the 3DS. Void Spartan says, I found my Intellivision. That's old school. Holy crap. Look, in television, isn't that one console that you actually took little, you know, see-through cutouts and then you just stapled? Well, not stapled them, but like, it uses the television static to cling it to the TV, and then you can play games off of it. That was some janky electronics. BitB streams Ouya games. Why? Why would I do the thing? Unlike most consoles, Stadia, no! I will not. Oh, Void Spartan had it converted, really nice. Does it, like, actually have the graphics in it now? Which is very odd to think about. Shadow said, I have a PS3, a PS Vita, rest in peace, an Xbox 362, but that's it. No current gen consoles. I have this PC down here, and that pretty much covers it for me. I modded my PS Vita just because I had no real function for it, and I didn't have anything to do with it. I don't even use it right now. It's just like, I have it modded for the sake of having it modded. Shrug. I'm not going to use it for anything else, so why the heck not? Okie dokie. No, again, like I said, tomorrow we're going to be doing Hat in Time mods, so that should be exciting. PlayStation TV? Anyone? Nope, I did not have that. Who remembers the 90s and the early 2000s? 2 3DSs. I used to have 2 3DSs, and then I realized that it's useless to have 2 3DSs, so I just threw it to the side. Wait a minute. Your court? Wait a minute. Fluffy says the most expensive thing I've ever spent on was my court? Court for one... Wait a minute. For 1K? Wait, what's 1K? Say that again? Void Spartan has 4 3DSs. What are you talking... What? Wait, what court? How? Where? What? I need to know. Was that a misspelling or was that like... I'm so curious about that now. What are you talking about? Yeah, a court. What did you mean by that? I need closure. Holy shit. Are you a judge? Phoenix? Oh, your court case. Gotcha. I thought you owned a court. I understand now. Okay. Well, congrats. I'm very glad I haven't needed to go to court. Jesus Christ. Okay, right. I should really get moving here. I gotta set up some stuff for the next stream, including getting some things fixed. 4K, you mean? I'm glad you won. Okay, again, I'm off. Thanks for coming out. See you next time.